Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's episode of the podcast, I am joined by Sophomore from the UWS women's hockey team, Emma Booth. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Emma, and how's everything going?
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's going good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, just wrapped up classes today and just trying to get some work done, but overall not bad.
Good.
Well, let's start off by talking about the beginning of your hockey career and kind of working all the way up to where you are today. So, doing research on yourself, it says that you're from Brainerd, Minnesota. So, talk
Yeah.
about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, well, growing up in Brainerd was really fun because we're a big outdoors place, lots of lakes there, so it's always fun to be outside in the winter and in the summer. And also playing hockey there was really fun because I had good teams growing up every single year, so it was nice to play with girls that are good and have good competition too. But I started playing hockey when I was like 10, I think. So I started kind of later than most girls did. I originally played basketball actually. And then I think one of my dad's friends told him that he should put me and my sister in hockey. So we did that and we just ended up loving it. So I just stuck with it.
Nice. Do you have any fun ponds hockey stories? Because I never did that growing up, and it's something that I kind of regret.
Pond hockey?
Yeah, I never did any pond hockey growing up, so
Yeah.
it's some, I love to hear the stories about what it's like on the ice, outside.
Yeah, I actually did pond hockey like leagues when I was younger. So I did that a lot. And then also I started playing in Wadena, Minnesota. And while I was playing, our rink burned down,
Oh
or I
wow.
think it was from a tornado that it, whatever. So we had to play outside for a majority of when I was younger. So it was actually really fun to do that. And I honestly liked it more than playing inside because it was something kind of different.
Yeah, I don't know how they manage though, getting all those games outside, especially with the way the weather is sometimes.
I know, I'm sure it was tough. I don't really remember a lot of it, but
Yeah.
it was fun.
Did you have a favorite player growing up? Maybe someone on the Minnesota Wild or women's national team, maybe?
Yeah, my favorite player was Zach Parise growing up.
Nice. What about his game did you like the most?
I think that he just worked really hard. That's something that I really appreciate because I feel like I'm that type of player where I'm more of a gritty player than a skilled player. And I think he was more of a gritty player too. So I appreciated that.
Now, before college hockey, you played for a high school at Brainerd. Talk about your experience there and what was that like?
It was awesome. A lot of the girls that I played with actually ended up going D1 or D3. So I had my team was really good. So we from I think in 12U and 15U we made it to state, and then also I made it to state 2 years in high school, my eighth grade and ninth grade year. So like overall, we had a successful. I had a successful like all years going playing hockey there. So it was really fun, and I loved it. I had good coaches, good teammates.
Yeah, talk a little bit more about how that success helped prepare you for college hockey. And do you think playing with those other college commits helped you along the way because you're practicing against college hockey players essentially in high school? So that definitely helps prepare you when once you step foot into a college campus because you know what that competition is going to be like.
Yeah, I thought that the girls that I played with really prepared me for college hockey because they were all fast and skilled, and that it helped me with the transition to play college hockey because I was used to it. Like I was used to playing against girls that were really good and playing against tough competition all the time. And so it was really nice to like have that, and the success was nice too because I feel like when you're successful in high school, it helps you also move on to college hockey because coaches can see you and everything. So that was nice too.
Yeah, and plus that drive as well. Like you know what it takes to win. So even when things aren't going your team's way, you sort of know what it takes to win and you have that drive to get the job done.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, talk a little bit about the Minnesota high school hockey scene and what's it like being a player in that atmosphere because I've seen the clips of what the state tournament is like at the XL Center and it looks pretty cool and it's kind of super cool to see how you guys can fill up an entire NHL arena for high school hockey because that's something you don't see pretty much anywhere else in the country. So, what makes Minnesota high school hockey different from the rest of the country? And I'll talk about what it's like being a player in that atmosphere and how it helps you just enjoy the game and grow the love of the game as well.
Yeah, so we're the state of hockey, obviously. I when I played in the state tournament for 2 years, it was crazy to even see all the fans that came out to watch us play. And I've never played in something with that big of an atmosphere. And you can just tell how much the fans love hockey and how much they appreciate that we play. And it's just crazy to to think about that because it makes you more excited to play when you have a big fan base that's behind you. And I think that hockey is just really important to us in Minnesota. And it's just a super fun sport that mostly everyone loves. It's
Yeah.
fun to watch, it's fun to play. And it was crazy playing in the state tournament and seeing all the fans that showed up for us. It was awesome.
Yeah. Why do you think high school hockey is so much popular in Minnesota versus other states? Because I would argue that Massachusetts and Michigan are just as big hockey states as Minnesota is, but the high school hockey scene doesn't seem as popular as it is in Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just always been
Hmm.
something that's been big. I don't know. It's fun to watch. I don't
Yeah.
know why it's so big here. Maybe because, well, I guess it's cold in those places too.
Yeah.
But winter's long here, so it's a long season and hockey's part of winter, so maybe that's a big part of it.
Yeah, someone was saying that it's because a lot of like players get to play for their public high school in their hometown, where at least most other states you kind of move on to a different school, so that
Mm.
sort of town pride isn't as big as it is in the Midwest.
Yeah, that could be it too. Hmm.
Now, doing research on yourself, you also played lacrosse in high school. Talk about playing that sport and how it can help you in hockey, because I think that's pretty cool to be a dual athlete in high school.
Yeah. I think lacrosse actually helped me a lot for hockey because number one, it's like a big thing for hand-eye coordination. Also, it helped me develop I feel like it helped me develop more creative stick handling skills because even though you're not stick handling on the ice, you're still stick handling with a stick in the air and you're able to move your wrists and your hands. And it also helped, I feel like just being with different girls and being on a different team helps you become a better teammate as well because you are meeting new people and you're able to communicate with them and everything. So I think it helped me in a lot of ways and it actually made me a better hockey player. But I think one thing that was the downside was that myself and a lot of the other girls that played lacrosse and hockey, we would get a lot of penalties because you can't really touch in lacrosse, but we're used to being a little more aggressive in hockey.
Any good hits that you had in your lacrosse days that you want to share?
Uh, I did have a few cards, but I tried to be I tried to not hit too hard.
Yeah. I just didn't know if there was like a moment where you like laid someone out by mistake. And it's obviously like at the moment it's tough, but like you kind of look back on that moment and sort of laugh about it.
Yeah. I'm sure there was a few times. I can't remember one
Yeah.
exact time.
So you get cards in lacrosse. I didn't know. I don't know anything about lacrosse, to be honest with you. So is that sort of like it's kind of like soccer in that aspect?
Yeah, it's kind of like soccer.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Well, what's the
Yeah.
best high school hockey memory you have? I'm assuming it's making those state championship tournaments, but is there anything else that I might not be aware of that was a cool memory for yourself?
Well, yeah, besides getting second in state, probably honestly just playing with I got to play with my sister in high school. So it was really fun when we made it. We won the section final game together and we're able to play in the state tournament together, which was really awesome. So I think just every game I got to play with her was really cool.
Now, talk about the recruiting process with UWS and what made you want to play there versus other schools you might have looked at.
Yeah, so I actually toured UWS probably like 7 times because I wasn't sure. There's so many places, it's hard to know exactly what you want to do. But there was something that kept bringing me back here. And I think that when I came here, it just felt like home to me. Our coach is awesome. He was probably one of the biggest reasons I came. He's just such a nice guy and he cares for us so much. And I could even tell that when I met him the first time. I also, growing up, have always loved Duluth. So it's super nice just to be next to Duluth and just go over there whenever I want. And it's only 2 hours from home. So it was a good distance, far enough away, but also close enough. I loved the girls when I came. I don't know, it was a small school. There was a lot of things that drew me to it.
What was like the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it just balancing both the academic and hockey side of things as a student athlete, or was it just like sort of the speed and physicality of the game since it's a lot more physical, but it's also a lot faster. So you have less time to make decisions with the puck, but also shoot and make passes as well.
Yeah, I think that the biggest adjustment was probably decision making because you can't hold the puck forever. You need to make sure that you know what you're doing with the puck before you even get it. So that was the biggest adjustment. And everyone's fast. So you need to be fast with your stick and fast with your skates. So I think that was probably the biggest adjustment.
Now, talk about what it's like playing in your conference, the NCHA, and just the competition you face every weekend.
Yeah. Every team's good. So it's every single weekend we know that we have to play to the best of our ability because all the other teams are going to bring their best. So it's also, I'm really thankful for it because I get to play against great competition every single weekend. And it makes me a better hockey player playing against these girls that are probably the best, were the best in their high school. So I don't know, it's awesome.
Now, during your first year, your team had to deal with a lot of challenges, mainly due to the pandemic. How did you sort of handle those challenges of having games being postponed, especially as a first year player? Because I think it's important to get into that routine because it really helps your adjustment and transition into college hockey. And obviously, with games being postponed, it's sort of hard to do that. So I'm just curious how your team sort of handled that challenge and bonded as a team, but also sort of dealt with games sort of being inconsistent regarding your schedule.
Yeah, I think just practicing and making sure that we have team bonding things together and like making sure that we're still getting workouts in and just keeping everything normal, even though our game schedule is not normal, keeping everything else normal. It helped us stay on a schedule and stay on track. And we had a few games that were like a whole week, every other day. We had a game because we had them canceled. So we had to fill them up somehow, which
Yeah.
is really tiring. But it was also, I think, a good challenge for us to kind of tell what type of shape that we were in. And it helped us get in better shape too. So it was tough, but I think it was also a really good experience, something that like we can take from that and learn from it.
Yeah, I didn't think about that part of it. Obviously, with games being postponed and canceled, you have to make those up. So at least you got sort of a consistent schedule, and I think that helps just playing as many games as you can because the more games you play, the more you get used to what
Yep.
college hockey is like.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got your first collegiate goal against Lawrence that year. Talk about that goal and where do you keep the puck today?
Yeah, it was really awesome. I think it was my second game of my freshman year. And I really didn't think I was going to score that quick into the season. So it was awesome to score right away because I feel like it gave me some confidence and it helped me feel like, oh, I'm meant to be here. I'm meant to keep playing and like add on to that. So it was really exciting. I was really excited, but I keep my puck just in my room. It's like a good reminder. Whenever before I have games, I can
Yeah.
see my room, just walk out. It's a good reminder of where I started and where I am now.
You also don't want to lose that thing too, so that's important.
Yes, I always keep it safe.
And also, it must have felt good to score that early just because it takes that weight off your shoulders too. So, like you said, you're sort of playing with more confidence to
Yeah.
start out your year, which I think is a big part of the game now.
Yes, confidence is huge.
Now, in your freshman year, your team beat Northland in the quarterfinals and then lost to UW River Falls in the NCHA semifinal game. What did you take away from your first playoff experience that you think has helped you during your sophomore year? And then obviously that's going to help you for your junior and senior years as well.
Yeah, I think I realized that like this is you play two games and if you lose the first game, you got to win the second game. It's like this is do or die. So I think playing that first year of playoffs helped me realize this year how much more important it is because I know more about like the other teams and where you can go after. I think my freshman year I didn't know as much like what happens after we win. But now that I know that how far we can go and how like what can happen, I think it just I mean like more experience has helped me want to go farther in playoffs because I know more about it.
Now, heading into this year, your sophomore year, what was one thing you wanted to work on regarding your game?
I think one thing I wanted to work on was my hands. I've always been more of like a I just skate and gritty player kind of. So I think I wanted to work on my hands and I also wanted to be a better playmaker, which comes with having better hands too.
Yeah, that's an important skill to have. though, to be that gritty player because it's every team needs that role player once in a while in certain situations, and I feel like it's hard for players to sometimes find their role in college hockey. So that's good that you sort of are working on trying to do both the skill role and then also kind of the grind player role as well.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think was the biggest improvement in your game this year?
I think playmaking was probably my biggest improvement because now that I knew what the speed was going to be like in college hockey and kind of I knew what to expect, I was able to keep my head up more and like make plays. I know what I was going to do with the puck before I was going to do it. So I think I that was my biggest improvement.
Any cool assists that you remember from this past year that you were proud of? There's got to
Um,
be a one.
gotta think. I think there was at one point when there was a 2-on-1 and I just made a nice pass over and
Nice.
a good goal.
Yeah. I saw that you guys kind of have a couple blowouts in the past 2 years, won a 10-0 game. So that must boost your confidence well when you get an assist in that sort of type of game.
Yeah, it's nice because especially when we play teams like River Falls and we don't do too hot and then we get to play teams where we win 10-0, it helps boost our
Yeah.
confidence more. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. How do you what's the locker room like after those type of wins? It's probably buzzing, right?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's so fun.
Now, one thing I noticed about your team this past year was you guys went 9-6 on the road, and then but you guys struggled at home. So I'm curious, what was the key to your success on the road, and how do you think you can use that success and translate to home games for next season?
Yeah, I think just keeping in a schedule for away games helped. Like we would get to the rink at a certain time, get on the bus. Everyone would talk on the bus, but then also we'd have time to like focus, listen to music. So kind of just like knowing what helps us play better helped, and then also getting to the rink at a certain time and warming up at a certain time. Just kind of like the whole schedule of away games helped us, and um, I think that something we could probably do to help our home games more would be maybe finding a different schedule, like the away game schedule that could help us become more successful.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be your junior next season. That must feel super weird for you because it felt like probably feels like your college hockey career started a few days ago. So, what type of leadership are you going to try to bring to the team next year as one of the older players? Do you think you're going to be more of a vocal leader or lead by example type of player?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I wanted to do to be a leader would be just being consistent with my play, because I think that if um older girls are consistently playing good every single game, the younger girls learn from that and watch that and they realize, "Oh, I need to be on my game every single game too."
Now, what is your team's goals and expectations for next season? Obviously, it's to win a championship, but is there any other goals that your team might have that fans might not be aware of?
Yeah, so we were a really young team this year. We had majority freshmen and sophomore. So I think coming up next year, being able to have already had a year under our belt playing together, that'll help us more, like succeed more next year. I think just beating Eau Claire and River Falls and getting higher up will help us because that's just our biggest goal. We need to beat those big teams.
Yeah, exactly. And you have the experience of playing those teams, but also for you specifically, having the success that you had in high school, you know what it takes to win. So I feel like balancing those, using that experience that you had in both high school and college, I feel like will really be beneficial for yourself and maybe some of your teammates as well heading into next year.
Yeah, it's nice to know what it feels like to be successful because it helps you carry on to being more successful in your college career too.
Absolutely. Well, now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit more off the ice. First one is music. What type of music are you into?
I like country music, but I like all.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't listen to one specific genre of music, so it depends what mood I'm in. So I have like
Yeah,
a playlist of like every genre of music. So whatever mood I'm in, I could just listen to that playlist.
yeah, I do the same.
So since you're a big country art or country fan, who's your favorite country artist right now, I
Probably
guess?
Morgan Wallen right now.
Nice. What
Yeah,
was your thoughts on his new album?
I like it. I haven't listened to most of it actually, but some
Oh
of the
wow.
songs I've heard I've liked.
That's good. That's good. At least you have something to listen to in the summer when you're just relaxing.
Exactly.
Well, if there was a movie made about your life, who would you want to play yourself?
Um, Probably Jennifer Aniston because she's just funny.
Yeah.
Just like her.
I would say for me, probably Matt Damon because we have the same name, but we sort of look alike, even though he's a bit older than me. So I feel like that would kind of work out.
Yeah.
What is your most embarrassing hockey moment?
Oh, I don't know an exact moment, but I do fall a lot. Sometimes my legs are moving faster than my brain is. So if anyone's falling, all my teammates know that it's probably me.
Yeah.
So there's been a few embarrassing fall moments for me.
Are there any clip that your teammates showed just to embarrass you even more during practice?
Oh yeah, I've been sent a lot of clips.
That's funny. Well, speaking of your teammates, who's the funniest on the team?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably probably my roommate Cora. She's pretty funny.
Which teammate takes the longest to get back to your phone calls or text messages?
Oh, definitely Veda. She's never on her phone. Who knows what she's doing?
And then last teammate question is I think you have the best style on the team. That's just my opinion. But besides yourself, who do you think has the best pregame style on the team?
Hmm. Probably Anna Sherling. She's got some good style.
Who, what is the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Oh, I heard that B-Dubs is getting sued.
Why?
Apparently their boneless wings aren't actually wings, they're chicken tenders. So the guy's suing him because of that.
That
And
seems like a waste of the court's time, in my opinion.
that's what I would think too. It's funny.
Yeah. No, I know if you have the time to do it, I guess, but I just feel like that's kind of a weird lawsuit. As long as no one's getting like sick or anything, that's all that counts.
Just so weird.
I think for me, probably the most interesting thing was even I know this is the non-hockey segment, but seeing like the tournament field and who made it in and that kind of stuff. That's all I've been sort of paying
Yeah.
attention to this past week.
I know it's been fun to watch.
Yeah. Who do you got in winning the national championship this year?
For guys,
Yeah.
um, well, I want Minnesota to win, but I don't know. I want Minnesota to win.
Yeah. I feel like they have the best team in the country, but I also feel like sometimes the best team doesn't win it all, at least in college hockey. But that team's fun to watch with Logan Cooley and Matthew Nyes and who's the other one? There's someone else that's good. Oh, Jimmy Snuggerud. That's right. He's really fun to watch.
Mhm.
But I think Michigan's gonna win. I feel like even though last year there was sort of the team for them to win it and they didn't do it, but I think they have a good path to the national championship. So I have Michigan. I know you're probably very upset at that since that's Minnesota's biggest rival.
Yeah. Well, they are a good team.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm interested to see how that all plays out. So, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
For sure, Kirill Kaprizov, just because of how good he is. Like I that's definitely my number one player that I like to watch because he's so fun to watch.
Yeah. Does he speak English? I've never seen him do an English interview.
Not good.
Oh, but that would still be fun conversation to have, I feel like.
It would because I think that his accent's funny, so it'd just be fun to
Yeah,
listen and say the few English words that he can say.
yeah, for sure. I think for myself, I'll go with a hockey player as well. I would say I'm a big Bruins fan, so actually, no, I'll go with Trevor Zegras. I think he seems like a funny guy.
Yeah.
And I want to learn how he does all those trick moves. So I would probably say him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, getting back to some hockey questions now. First one is for all the younger people that are listening to this podcast, what advice would you give them on what it takes to make it to college hockey?
I think that just making sure that you're working on your skills every day and staying consistent with that, and also going places that give you exposure to college coaches, like doing summer hockey and stuff, and making sure that you're reaching out to coaches if you're interested because they need to know, become aware of you, and just um, staying consistent and playing hard and working on yourself really helps, I think.
Now, what do you think should be done to help grow women's hockey from your perspective?
Um, I think just even like with some of the pro women hockey players that don't get paid as much, I think that maybe if they were to, some women would want to keep playing hockey throughout and also just like putting on TV as much as men's hockey is so that there's more exposure to it. So that younger girls can see hockey being played and that it's a fun sport to play. Um, just like stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I read somewhere where the PHF's like salary caps can be raised like $1 million, so hopefully that helps those players get paid more.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. That'd be
Or,
nice.
or do you have any shout outs you want to give to your teammates, former teammates, family members, friends? Feel free to do that.
Um, well, I just love all my teammates. I love my parents. Thankful for them all.
Anyone who should interview next from your team?
You should interview Jenna Hooks.
All right. All right,
Hmm.
for sure. I'll definitely reach out. But Emma, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It means a lot to myself. I think you're one of the more underrated players in D3 hockey. And it was fun getting the chance to talk with you today and meet with you today as well. And I wish you nothing but the best, not only for your hockey career, but for off the ice stuff as well. And I wish you nothing but success. And it was a pleasure getting to meet you today. It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was awesome getting to talk to you.